disturbing sounds. If you want to speak, we can unmute. So, Jennifer, am I audible enough?
Yes. Sorry. Hello. Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. We are already live, and some of you that subscribers to our channel, you will receive notification that we are on now live. And I will also take time to record this. Okay, so we are good to go. Let me just share my screen. So this morning we'll be looking at a sheet of data from a particular organization or a unit, analyzing data or parameters of the countries. And then we will now visualize. So there are two things we are going to be doing. We are going to analyze, and then we will visualize. So just a minute, my system is hanging. Let me just here. I need to upload, project my screen. Just a minute. Okay, so I believe my screen is up now. Jenny, is my screen up?
Hello. Yes, it's off.
So everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes,
they're responding.
Yeah.
They can see it. They can see it.
You can see your screen.
Okay. So thank you so much. Like I was saying, we were going to look at analysis, then we visualize with conditional formatting, and then thereafter, we will visualize with a progress bar charts, progress charts, conditional formatting, and then we visualize with a progress charts. Okay, so this is what we have, and I'm going to zoom this, and then let us have this. Okay, so these are the countries. Okay, so these are the countries, country 1 up to 20. And then these are their security levels. Now, this is their population in millions. Okay, we didn't want to have big number, so we have this population, and this 400 million, and so on and so forth. Now we have employed, the number of people employed. These are the achievements. So each country set a target to employ, and then at the end, these were their percentages achieved. So 87% of the targeted value or figure was achieved. So we have this. And then for vaccination, the same country made a projection. This is what they want to vaccinate. And then eventually at the end of the day, based on their achievement, these were their respective percentage achievements. Now, we are expected to use certain criteria to classify each of these countries into high impact country, medium impact country, and low impact country, depending on certain criteria that have been defined. Now, these are the conditions. These are the criteria for classification. Now, if you look at here, we have four major areas of consideration or assessment. These are the four here: security level, population, employed, vaccinated. So these are the four areas that we are assessing each country. Now, let's look at them critically. The condition for a high impact country is the security level will be low, the population will be higher or equals to 400, the employed, it must be up to 70% and above, and then the percentage vaccinated should be 60% or above. So we are going to use some Excel data management tools or data analysis tools to use and then classify these countries into high, medium, and low impact. Now, this is particularly very important when you have a data like this and then you are asked to prioritize your country based on availability of resources. Now, once you look at this before here, let me delete all this place. When you look at country, security, population, employed, vaccinated, it may not really make any meaning to you. So, but with the help of some data analysis tools, you'll be able to come up with a plan and say, okay, based on the availability of funds, these are the countries that will receive a priority attention, followed by this, followed by this. Okay, so we are going to use these criteria to classify them. Now, I have written this here. Let me just copy this and then create another sheet. I drop it here. Okay, so right now I am going to make this bold. Let me get it high. So we are going to be looking at them individually. Okay, let's get this. Okay, so let me go ahead and remove the grid lines. Okay, so this is what we are going to use. So I might as well. Okay, so let me just insert the column here. And sorry, I just need to pick this. I'll bring it here. Okay, so that we can have this here. Okay, so this, in analyzing this kind of data, we use certain functions, inbuilt functions, the if, the and sometimes depending on their criteria, you can also combine them with or. So we are going to be looking at if function, and function, and then we'll see if there's any condition that will make us use this. Then we can use this. Okay, so the condition is that, sorry. Okay, so these are our conditions here. Let me bring this. Now, so myself, I am going to do the analysis and then prioritize and categorize the countries into medium, into low, medium, and high impact countries. And then the visualization will be done by Jennifer. Okay, so this is what we need to do. First, we need to understand what the if function does. It's a logical function, and it looks into your criteria and then returns the value to be true or false. So it can either be true or false. Now, if it is true, you can say it is true, or you can say A. And then if it is false, you can either say false or you say B. Now, what we need to do is we are going to say if this point is low, because we are looking at the high here, so we are going to say if this security is low and the population is greater or equals to 400 and the employed percentage is equal or greater than 70 and the vaccinated proportion is equal or greater than 60%, then tell us that this point is high impact country. I take that again. Based on our condition here, we are going to tell Excel, please look at these parameters. And if here is low plus population greater or equals to 400 plus employed greater or equals to 70% plus the vaccinated greater or equals to 60%, just return that here is high impact. And if that condition is not met, go ahead and assess it again and check whether here is medium and here is now between 300 and 400, that's 300 inclusive, and employed equals to 50 or greater than 50, but less than 70, and here vaccinated equal or greater than 40, but less than 60. If that is true, then return medium. If none of these conditions are met, then return low impact. So this is exactly what we are going to be doing. Now, I have put this here so that you can also understand how we are working. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with equal sign, then if. So it's a logical condition which I'm going to define. Now, you remember that all these ones must happen. So if it must happen, that means it needs to be plus or and. So I'm going ahead to write and here. So I'm going to say if here is equals to, the first condition is it must be low. And because low is a text, when we are making Excel functions, once we have text, we put them in quotation marks. So I'm going to say low. So this is the first condition. Remember, I am discussing and now. So these are my definitions for and. I am saying that B4 must be low, comma. Then this population here, based on what we have here, must be greater or equals to 40. So this is my population here, which is C4, must be greater or equals to 400. That's the second and. Then the third and is this employed, which is here now, and that is D, must be greater or equals to 70%, which is this. And then again, my vaccinated must be greater or equals to 60%. So you see that the and conditions are all here. There are 4 of them. This is 1, it must be low, it must be equals to 400. Okay, so I need to have sorry, here should be greater. So my C4 should be greater or equals to 400, which is this. And D4, which is my employed, must be greater or equals to 70, which is here. Then my E4, which is my vaccinated, must be greater or equals to 60%. So now I am done with the and for high. So if this condition is met, what is the true value? The true value is high impact. Remember, this is a text, so I'm putting it all in quotation marks. So now that I am done defining for high impact, I'm going ahead now to define medium, still inside the same cell. So now I have defined the condition, the value if it is true. So I'm going to confirm that I am done. Now, assuming it is false, remember I said the if function is either true or false. So we have defined the value if it is true. Now, what if it is false? If these conditions are not met, I want it to reevaluate again and then check if it is medium. So I'm going ahead to say, then check again, if, and again, and. So right now I'm going to be looking at this medium. That's my column I for medium impact. So I'm going to say this place must then be equals to medium, because this is the condition. Yeah, one of the conditions is that it is medium. So it is medium, and the population should be between 300 and 400, but 300 is inclusive. So my population here, which is C, must be greater or equals to 300, and the same population should then be less than 400. Okay, so I have defined the condition for population. Then the other condition is the employed, which is now under D. So the D, based on this condition, employed should be between 50% and 70%. Okay, so this should be greater or equals to 50%. And then the same D, D4, should be less than 70. So that is the definition or the criterion for employed. Then let's now add the vaccinated. The vaccinated is now E, E4 should be greater or equals to 60% and less than 60%. Okay, so we have finished defining for medium. So the medium now is B4.
No. E4 must be less than 40, greater than or equal to 40, no 60, please.
Okay, E4, okay, sorry, yeah, 40, thank you. Should be greater or equals to 40% and then less than 60%. All right, so now we are done defining the condition for medium. So we close the bracket for the and then we confirm that we are done defining the condition for medium. Now, what is if the value is true, we are going to say medium impact. We put that in quotation marks, and then we confirm that we are done with the medium impact. Now, if this is not true, we want it to classify it as low. So rather than putting another if, we just go ahead and say, this is our definition. If these two conditions are not met, that means it should be low impact. Now I am done defining this. So I am going to close my brackets. And when you are using this if, the number of ifs that you put, you cover it with the brackets according to the number of ifs that you have used. So if you look at what we have used here, here is the first one, here is the second one. So I should have two brackets closing it, two brackets, and then I enter. Now you will see that this is high impact. So using the if and o, I've been able to categorize country one. Now, let me just double click here to get the rest. So you see that here is medium, here is medium, here is low, and so on and so forth. So I have used the if and on functions to categorize my countries into high impact country, medium impact country, and low impact country. Okay, so this is one way you can use to analyze your data that hitherto looked very confusing. You don't know where to start. Your organization or your boss has asked you, this is the data that we have. Please, which countries should we prioritize? And then using this, you are able to come up with this. Okay, so I would like to give maybe 5 minutes for us to assimilate and ask questions before we go to the visualization. Jenny, it's like somebody raised a hand.
Okay, so do we have hands for him? I'm not seeing any raised hands for now, but if you have any questions you want to ask, you can either type it in the chat box or raise your hand to ask the question. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we
All
heard
right.
you.
Okay. I think Daniel said something. Okay, kindly talk about and. I think he wants you to explain how you use the and function. That is from Daniel. Then Obialo asks, please, what is your YouTube channel? I think we'll post the YouTube channel on for everyone to view after this session. Then someone's called admin says, is there any other method apart from this? Maybe it's quite long. Okay. Hello? Samson, can you hear me?
Yes, Jenny.
Okay, fine. So let's take these these two comments first.
Okay, Jenny, just
Yes.
a minute. Just a minute.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Kofi, just keep your hand up or call you. I'll call you when it's time. So I will take in two questions before you, okay?
Okay, I'm waiting.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so Jenny, sorry,
Yes.
I'm back here. Was there any question?
Okay, so the first person, that's Daniel, asked you question that I should kindly talk about and. Well, first, I think before this was a shorter one. Admin asks you, is there any other method apart from this? I think he's asking about how you sorted out the high impact, low impact, and medium impact. So those are the first two questions. Then I'll have a raised hand. So
Okay.
the first question is, kindly talk about and, because it's the and function.
Okay. All right, so the and function, you know, okay, now let me describe it now using the or. if you want to give somebody admission, or let's say scholarship, then you say, I am looking for people who come from Nigeria and who are girls from Nigeria. Now, you have several people who have applied. Then the condition is, you are telling Excel, the person must be a Nigerian, the person must also be a female. Now, you will define those and. For instance, now, I am going to, sorry, let me come over here and say this is Nigeria, and then this is a female, then this is a male. So right now, I'm going to use only and. So I'm going to say this is equals to and. Here must be equals to Nigeria, and this place must be equals to female. So it's going to return true. Now, if I change here I'm actually supposed to have here. So let me just put a drop down menu here. So here I have male, I have male, I have female. All right, so if I choose female here, it's going to be true. If I choose male here, it's going to be false. So this is how to use your and. Now, if you are using and, the and you are going to tell us what do you want to be so that it becomes true. And here we have defined that G, which is here, must be Nigeria, and here must be female. So once that condition is met, then here is true. Again, let me make here, let me start data validation here. So here, I say here is Niger, here is Ghana, here is South Africa. Okay, so if somebody applies, here is a female, but then here is Ghana, we tell it's false. What of South Africa is false because the definition is for and. Now, this is how you define the and. These two conditions, it might be two or it might be more than two, like you saw in the first case. There are several of them. So how you define and or writing the syntax is those conditions must meet those conditions. E11 is equals to this, H11 is equals to this. That's all. So you need to now nest this into the if function. So if you look at our and here, this whole place that I have highlighted here, this is our and. So the and started from here, B7 up to this point, and then you need to close it. You need to close the bracket once you are done with the function. So I started my and here, and I ended it here, and so I had to close it. Likewise manner, here, I started with here, I started the and here with an opening bracket, and then I closed it here. So I don't know if that explanation helped. Any other follow-up question?
Yes, we have another question. I hope, Daniel, I hope that answers your question. Kindly confirm, please. Okay, let's move on to the next question. For Mr. Emmanuel, I'm going to share the YouTube channel soon. Admin asks us, is there any other method apart from this?
Well, in Excel, there are more than one ways, always more than one ways to arrive at a solution. Some people might prefer a very tedious one, maybe because they have been using it, and others prefer a simpler one. Now, depending on the way the data is set, you can actually use other methods. Now, for instance, let's see if there are other ways that we can do this. We want to define high impact. Now, you can define these conditions. You can define them, and then you can now make references to those cells. You can make references to those cells. So I think these are the things that I know. The other ones are long, and we may not really have time to go into them. Then first of all, you are going to get one. Say you are giving one to a country whose security is low and greater than 400, you assign one. And then you now say those countries whose security is low and employment is 70 and above, you locate another figure. Then thereafter, you will now add those figures together. Say, if the value is 1 and this, give us high impact. So those are the different ways that we can actually do that. So there are several ways that you can arrive at the same answer using Excel. So any other question?
Okay, all right. I know there was a hand raised up before. Mr. Kofi had a question. Would you still like to ask your question, sir?
Okay, thank you very much. Can I go?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm Mr. Kofi from Togo, the French country in West Africa. And then that's my first time to participate at this webinar. And I find this very well. It's very good for me to analyze my data in my office during my my work. My question is, if you look well in the column F, we see the priority is high impact, medium impact, and lower impact. But at the other side, we see clearly that the high impact is colored with green. Also, the medium impact is colored with yellow and red for lower impact. Is it possible to color in the condition we are made and have the result colored with the same color we have at the other side with green, yellow, and red? Is it possible to do the same thing or the twist in the immediately when we make the condition? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, my friend. What if I understood you very well? You want to find out whether these countries here can be formatted in such a way that it can highlight these colors here. For instance, here can become green, and then here can become yellow, and then here can become red. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we are going to be doing following after this.
Okay, thank you. That I'm watching it.
Okay. We are going to do that.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank
Jennifer
you.
is going to handle that for conditional formatting. So Jennifer, any other question?
One more question. Okay. So I think this is the last question because we haven't had any so far. Okay. It's from PC. The person says they're not clear on low impact function.
Okay, low impact function.
Yes. Okay,
so what we did with the low impact is our conditions are just 3. It's either they are categorized into high impact or medium impact or low impact. We could have gone ahead to define the low impact, but what we decided in this is if a country is neither a high impact country nor a medium impact country. Just say it's a low impact country. So you will see that low impact here, over here, we didn't define the values. We simply say return the false values for low impact. So we could have gone ahead to define the low impact here if we wanted. So you could do that on your own, assign figures here based on what you do. You could, excuse me, you could say that the population is less than 300. You can see here, we say it must be greater or less than, or greater than, equal or greater than 300 for medium. What about those ones that are less than 300? So those are the ones that you can actually now define. You may also go ahead to define low impact and lowest impact country. So we believe that what you have learned can also help you to apply this in what you do, and you can get other variables. So, but what we have just done here is, if a country is not in high impact country or medium, just categorize it as low impact. So that's what we did here. And we said, if it's not C first here, if it is not high, if it is not medium, then rather than going to test other values again, just tell us it's low impact. And that's exactly what we did here. Okay, so that's just what we did. But we could have gone ahead to answer, to add more values. Okay, so Jane, any other one?
Okay, no other question, but there is this concern. Someone messaged me. Okay, about sharing the workbook. Do you want to share with them now or after we're finished with everything?
We will share the two of them. Okay, and this particular webinar, we did not do registration to get your emails.
Okay.
So yes, I'm trying to. Okay, let's see. Those of you who can access it through the chat, we are going to share it.
Okay.
So we are going to share it, okay, and then let's see if they can get that.
Okay, all right. All right, so I think he was sharing it on the chat box, or he was sharing it via this platform for everyone to download it. And if you joined late due to network issues, this it is being recorded, so it will be shared with everyone for viewing.
Okay, any other question?
No questions. No questions. I'm still lost. Okay. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jennifer.
Okay, yeah, so we have another question. Asks another question about and yes, the brackets and then the inverted commas. What is their significance in the formula?
Okay. Now, it's talking about the inverted commas and what again?
Sorry?
The question was what again? The significance
what's the brackets? You still lost about the brackets and then the inverted commas.
Okay. The brackets are the things you use when they must be used with inbuilt functions. They must be used with inbuilt functions. So once you type in an equal sign, and then knowing the function you want to use, you start typing the function, and then you now type the function, define your syntax. Now, as you finish typing and selecting the function, a comma, opening comma, an opening bracket appears to tell Excel that yes, whatever you are going to be entering there is for that function. So those brackets define the boundaries for that specific function. So it's important that you define your function with opening and closing marks. And then I said that for those references that you are going to be using inside the syntax, if you are going to type a text, those texts must be in quotation marks. Excel recognizes anything, any text to be in quotation marks, opening and closing quotation marks. So those are the significances. If you don't put your text in quotation marks, it will not recognize it. So I think maybe at this point, I would like to inform us that we have tutorials where we explain all these things in details, beginning from the basics of Excel. We have 5 modules, gradually going into formulas, advanced formulas and functions, data management tools, then pivot tables, and then this particular one that we are doing now. You know, our assumption in this particular one is everybody have a good understanding of some of these functions. That's why we just went straight without explaining those details. So if you want to get those details, maybe you may have to send us a mail so that we can discuss how you can benefit from the different modules that we offer. So it's not something we can explain at this meeting because this meeting is actually designed to last 1 hour or highest 90 minutes. Okay, so to get full understanding of those functions and other details, we may need to go further to the basics. All right. So Jennifer, over, any other question?
Any other question? Let me cross check. No questions for now. No questions.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just trying to
copy the email addresses.
Let me see. Yes, you can send in your email addresses.
Yes, they are doing that already.
Some have sent, but I'll also try and see if I can share the link here. Okay, it's in our Google Drive. But however, we'll try and send, because I know not everybody might send their email. So those ones that will see their email, we will send to you. So I think we are done. Okay. If there's no other question, I think I can come down, right?
Yes, I think so. Let me check, cross check.
So thank you. And then we will invite Jennifer to take us through the visualization. So Jennifer, over.
All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So thank you, Samson, for a very interesting first session. I'm actually just building up on what he has done. So, so I'm taking everyone on 2 topics. We're going to first of all look at conditional formatting, and then also to look at progressive charts. So, so the first one I want to talk about is conditional formatting. So I think this is going to answer Mr. Kofi's question a bit. So this is the data that we're served with, and it shows us the different parameters with security, population, vaccination, and the people's how the parity level and the countries involved. So we can use conditional formattings now to throw a bit more light to what this data means, because if you serve this, if you display this to an onlooker, just an ordinary person, no one can make meaningful deductions from this. So conditional formatting is a way of presenting your data in such a way that, oh, you see, oh, with just a simple glance, you can see it catches your eye, and you can already make inference of what you're reading. So we can use conditional formatting for that. So for example, the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to try and copy these colors here. Make it such that wherever it says high impact, it's to color it green, medium impact, yellow, and then low impact to be red. That's directly on this particular column. Then I'll also now make it such that wherever it says, if you want to now be specific to a particular criteria, if we feel that we want to now give our have an intervention and give our intervention to countries that have low impact, it should now highlight the countries that are here to show us, okay, these are the countries where you should actually focus your intervention on, since they're low impact on it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is, first I'm going to highlight everything in column F. Then I'll go to conditional formatting. So in conditional formatting, we have, there are already preset conditions which we can use, but I prefer setting my own formulas because it helps you to customize it to what you truly want it to be. These formulas are good, but they're a little bit streamlined to a particular template, but we can't really use it for what we want to do, the example I'm giving right now. So I'm going to use these last three options. There is new rule, clear rule, and manage rules. For the clear rule is for erasing any rules that you already put. If you want to clear it off, you can either do it for your selection or for your entire sheet. But I can demonstrate this a bit later. There is new rule. New rule brings you to this dialog box, which now shows you the different kinds of conditional formattings that there are. There is based on cell values. That is, as you can see here, it's showing like a graduation, like a gradient color coding, where you can have the high intensity to be for maybe if you want to measure between low and high impact, or same values like say 1 on 100, you can give 100 to be green and yellow, sorry, 0 to be red. So anything in between that, now it changes the color based on the values. If you now have a different
Hello,
it's
Jenny.
like sorry?
Hello, Jenny.
Yeah, hi.
Can you zoom a bit?
Okay.
I think the font are a little bit tiny. Some may not be seeing it.
Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, sorry. Okay. So like, imagine you're marking a WAEC, a school exam script, and then you have in your mind 100% is supposed to be the highest, but then you have students that score the highest score is now 70. Would you score them as low, or would you change your your grade mark, the benchmark? So now this can help you show that, okay, the highest value can be green and the lowest value will be red. So depending on what values you have on your table data, it uses the color code. This one is to now determine the color code for particular content in a cell. It could be a value, a number, a text, a date, whether it has blanks, errors, etc. You can set your conditional formatting for that. You have conditional formatting for top and bottom ranking, whether it's top 10, bottom 10. You can choose for below, above average. You can check for whether they duplicates, and also to use a particular formula to detect to do a conditional formatting. So for the first example which I gave, I'm going to use this format cells only that contain. So this is look at what the cell contains exactly. So the first thing I'm going to do is to check for what the cell value is. Is it a number? Is it a specific text? So in column F, we have specific text. So I'm going to select specific text. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to now type in what my specific text is. So the specific text containing what? This first cell is going to, I'm going to call it high impact. So I don't need to put quotation marks here because I've already told Excel I'm looking for a specific text. It already has in his mind that I'm looking for words, not numbers. To now create the color code, I need to select the format and click on fill. So this, I've already worked on this before. So this is where the last thing I did was to use the fill conditional formatting. But so most times when you open it newly, you may see it here on number or any other of these tabs. So just ensure that where you want to do the conditional formatting, if you want to color the whole cell, it's to be on fill. This doesn't mean that you cannot use these other ones for conditional formatting. You can do that. That's if you want to just, change the text to be a specific color, maybe create a border, or if you want to fill this whole text with a color, you use this fill option. So for this, I'm going to select green was the color that's for high impact. So I select the color green. But if you notice, after I have done this first one, I'm back to my table. So now repeat the process from the beginning, highlight everything, and then go back to conditional formatting and select new row. However, what I prefer using manage row. Manage row now gives me the opportunity to become more flexible with what I want to do. Still, it's the same process, just that it has an added step. So in manage row, you have this manager table, which shows you all the rules that you have done before. On it, you can actually change the rules and make alterations. And also you can add new rules or remove the rules you do not want. So here I'm going to click on add new rule. And if you can see, it takes us back to this table, this box that we opened up before. So I'm going to repeat what I did before, for this time for impact. So cells that contain, I'll go to specific text. I'll type in medium impact. I'll click on format and then choose yellow. And then click on OK. So if we, so now it brings us back to the manager table. And I cannot see any changes to what I've done because I have not clicked on this. To do this, I need to click on apply. So once I click on apply, I can see it has now highlighted my median impact. So again, I can just go back. I don't need to go back all the way to this conditional formatting to start to process again, since I already have the manager open. So now this third one, I'll do it a bit different. I'll click on new rule. Select format cells that contain specific text. Now this time, instead of typing the word in, I want to click on this particular cell. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making reference to whatever content is in this cell. This is also another way that I can work with Excel. Instead of typing the word in, you can just make reference to the cell. So if you change the contents of this cell, it changes what it's looking for. So I'm going to now also click on format and then select the color red. It's a different color of red. Select this one. Okay, so click OK again. Then once I click on apply, and now I can cross-check everything I've done. If it's correct, and I click on OK. And this is now how I have used these colors to now conditional format this. If I change any of if I change any of these words, let me just change any of these cells to contain different text. If I change it to high impact now, automatically it changes to green because I've already told it wherever it sees high impact, it colors it green. Wherever it sees low impact, it's coloring red, and medium impact to be yellow. Okay. Also, likewise, if I change the contents in this particular cell, so maybe let's say medium impact, or let me just change it to a different thing. Yeah, it's a medium impact. This may cause like a clash in the formula. Yes, it's now all the medium impact has changed colors to yellow, and the low impact, which was before colored red, is now white because there's nothing, there's no indication for it, there's no formula for it. So that's why I wanted to show this, demonstrate this to show how referencing a cell can affect your data, and how you can also type in your information directly on the conditional formatting and also referencing a cell. Okay, so I think let me continue to the next example I gave, then I can give time for questions, or should I give time for questions now?
Yes, let's take 5 minutes for the questions.
For questions, all right, fine. Do you have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Jennifer, for that. Actually, I wanted to ask, what if you want to have these colors rather being on the country themselves, like having them in the color being affected in column A?
Okay, that's actually the next thing I wanted to do.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no problems. Okay, sir.
Okay, Jenny, you can go ahead. Anyone that has questions can type it, and then we'll take that up. So go ahead.
All right, fine. So now, if now wants to, okay, so now we have maybe an NGO that wants to now come and strengthen the countries that have low impact, have the conditions are not so good. They want to strengthen them. So we're looking at the priority level and we found out, okay, let's have an intervention for countries that have low impact. These are the ones we're interested in only. And we can't start, and assuming this had several rows of data to look at, you cannot feed through and see through and look for all the low impact, even though it's too difficult, but something that will just catch your eye easily, that will just highlight, okay, this country needs your assistance and all. How to do it is, first of all, you open your conditional formatting again. I prefer going to manage rules so that you can just add your new rule, and you can also edit the rule directly, because to do that, you actually need like a two-step process. It's not as straightforward as these ones I showed you just now. So click on new rule, and then you use this last option, use a formula to determine which cells to format. So in this formula box, I'll first of all put my cursor there and click on the first cell. If you notice it has these dollar signs in front and behind it. These dollar signs means that the formula, you're fixing the formula to the particular cell, so that no matter what you do, it doesn't shift anywhere. And you actually see the function of this more when you're using the formulas on the main Excel table. So we need to clear this up. And be careful, do not use your arrow key, because if you use your arrow key, it shifts the cell to the next. You notice this has shifted and it can start confusing you. So I prefer using my mouse to click and delete the first one, and then click and delete the second $sign. So now I want to color those countries. Maybe I want to color the text of the countries, color it red or something, so that I want to see their names boldly. So I'm going to change what I want to format. So instead of now formatting for field, let me use font. So I can make it bold, and I can change the color to red. Okay, I make it also bigger and size. I can't change the size. So now I've told it that what I want it to do is that whenever it sees the formula, it should actually make it bold and red. Oh, forgive me, I haven't even finished the formula yet. So now I selected F2. So now it's asking me, what do I want F2 to be? I want it to equal low impact. So wherever the formula sees low impact, it should color this, it should format the text to be like this. So then I click on OK. So now if you read it, it says formula is F2 low impact, and this applies to where? At this point, you need to change where it applies to. So now you delete this and it highlights everything in column A. Okay? And you press enter. So notice that it didn't change. So at this point, what you need to do is to go back to your manage rows and check the formula again. So notice that the formula, as in the cell value contains, sorry, it's not even showing now. So whenever you have a situation like this, simply come to this menu here, this show formatting rules for, and change it to this worksheet. Once you change to this worksheet, you see all the formulas you have on this worksheet. And now we notice that the formula we had before has changed again to A2. So now we need to go back and edit it. So double click on it and change this back A2 to now F2 and press enter. So now you have the formula correct. So it says formula F2, it's checking in F2 to see low impact. Wherever it sees low impact, effect the change in column A. So once you click on apply, notice all the countries that have low impact in column F are now colored red and they're bold. It's like, okay. Any questions? Hello?
Yeah, no questions so far. Atiogbe Kofi said fine, that
Okay.
he is satisfied.
Okay, so did that answer your question, sir? I think you asked just a few minutes ago.
Okay, no other questions.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to the next visualization, Jennifer.
That is progressive charts.
Yes.
So for progressive charts, now, assuming we have this, like 100 rows of this information going all the way down, I want to present this to your boss, say, oh God, this is the summary of everything. You definitely cannot present this table to him just like that, because one, he won't have the team, he may not understand what you're trying to say, and he may not have the time to go through it. So progressive chart is actually a nice, exciting way to present your data. It gives you the edge when you're making presentations, and people are interested in seeing it. And unfortunately, it's nice if you know how to make charts. A simple chart is you just go to select your data, go to Excel, and use one of these infographics that are here. A progressive chart, you actually have to have like a bit of patience and have some extra work to get what you want. So I'm still using the data that I've obtained here. What I did was now I had extracted, I counted the number of countries that had low impact, medium impact, and high impact. I used, I can do the formula again so you can see. I also found the percentage for them. And this cell, I left it open, so I'll fill it later and I'll show you what I'll do when I'm filling it. So let me redo this formula quickly so you can see what I did. So what I used is I used the count if formula. You can simply count it, but if you had 1,000 rows to count, it's waste of time and you can't count all of them. So simply count, you use a count if formula. So what you do is it equals to count. So in a count, there are several counts options. So I want to count if. So I'm telling you cells, count the cell if it contains a particular value in it. So I'm telling it count if, I'm selecting this one and pressing tab. So what that does, once I selected the formula once and I press tab, it automatically pulls out the correct formula and opens a bracket. And as my colleague Samson explained, a bracket is now where you put your formula in so you can tell Excel what you want it to do. So the first thing it tells you is select the range. So I want it to be on, to look in this range here. And then I put a comma and I select my criteria. I can type in the word low impact. I'm sorry, low impact. In quotation marks, like we said, Excel does not understand words, doesn't calculate words properly. But if it's put in the quotations, it tell you it's a word. If not, if you think it's a number and try and compute with it, and you get an error message, and you close the bracket. So another thing you can do is, if you press enter, you get the correct answer. So, and if I want to move on to the next row, instead of typing it again and again and again, as in this formula, several times to reflect, okay, I wanted to count medium impact, I wanted to count high impact. What I can do simply is drag the formula down, but I can't do that right now because I typed this in Word. So what I'm doing myself right now is I'm actually forcing myself to now type in the word, the next impact, medium impact, high impact each time. So what I can simply do is I can change it so that I'm making reference to the particular cell. So once I click on this cell, it's already in the formula. So Excel knows that I'm just making reference to the cell. So it gives me the same 15 because it says seeing low impact here. Another thing I can do is to ensure I don't get the wrong results, because I'm going to drag this down. As I'm dragging it down, the formula is shifting down. And if you add everything, it's not up to 20. Right? And we know that there are 20 countries here. So it makes you wonder, why is one missing? So remember I had showed you something when I was doing conditional formatting with the dollar signs. The importance of the dollar signs is to make sure that what you're making reference to sticks to that particular row and column. So depending on the type of keyboard you have, like my own right now, where my function buttons, I don't have it, my function button is now blue, and my keyboard is white. I need to press the function F4. For some people, they may just need to press the F button, and some may need to press function and F4. So you need to understand it to know which one to use. So now I press the function F4, and this formula changed a bit. So now I have dollar sign before and after the F. Likewise here. I press enter. Then when I drag this, if I highlight this, you see where the formula starts from. It starts from this cell row 2 and goes down to row 21. If I check the next one, right, medium impact, you notice since it doesn't have dollar signs, it has shifted down to row 3, and now the down part will be at row 21. So this is what is referencing. But because I added the dollar signs there to fix it, once I drag this down to give me a more correct answer, in the sense that it's not missing anything. So now my cell range is within the same box I want it to be, that from F2 to F21. So this is correct. So now I have my number of countries. So to find the proportion, I need to now, I can divide this divide this by 20 to find the percentage. So you can do equals to this divided by this. Again, I need to fix this one so that it doesn't move. Fix the formula so it doesn't move. That is dollar signs before and after the J. Press enter. Then drag it down. Okay, so to make it percentage, what I did was I had changed this. So before it was number, this was how it was before. I just simply clicked on this percent sign and it's changed to percentage. So in making a progress chart, you actually need to have your data in percentage, and basically when you're presenting data everywhere, it's in percentage. It gives a true perspective of what the data you're sharing. So in creating a progressive chart, I'm going to now fill in this column. This is my support column. CPPORT column. So the formula, so what I'm going to put in support column is goes to 1 minus this. So 1 is 100%, and when I do that, it now gives me the, so everything in this cell here is equal to 100%. Okay, that's 25% plus 75% is 100%, 15% plus 85 is 100, and so on. So we now know we're making like a circle. It's basically the pie chart we're going to use to make our progressive chart. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a chart. So the quick way of inserting a chart is you can just come here and click on donut chart. Sorry. Out of this place. Click on donut chart. So it's a plain donut chart. I have no data in it. We're going to build up our data from this. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to now add our background, like the structure for the donut chart. So we click on select data. Excuse me. Then add. For now, we're going to, so you can see it's formed a circle. Now we need to create like the segments which we'll use for this our donut chart. So ideally we should use 20 segments, and how I'm going to effect that is I'm going to now add ones inside this series value. So I'm going to put comma after each one. So make sure your cursor is in between, it's inside the one, not outside the brackets. Just put the, sorry, put the cursor inside the brackets where the one is. Try not to use your arrow key, because if you shift your arrow key, it shifts into other data and gives you error messages. Excuse me. So help me count and ensure I have 20, as in 20 pieces. So I'm still recovering from a cough. So excuse me. Okay, so I've finished entering my ones 20 times. So here I can check if there are ones, 20 ones. So yes, there are ones times, so 20 different segments. So I click on OK. So this is now the beginning part. So this is what our donut chart will be created on. I don't need the chart title or chart legend. I can either delete it directly or unselect them here in the chart elements and just do that and it's gone. Okay. I can also now format the way I want my cell to be. I'm not really seeing that right now. Okay. So I can select, change how I want the shape to be. I want the outer background to be a perfect box, so I can make it 7 by 7. People have different preferences. So 7 centimeters by 7 centimeters. So now it's a perfect box. To remove the background, I can now select, go to the shape field. So I'll make sure that my outer box is highlighted, not the chart, and click on no fill. So now it looks transparent, and in the outline, I also click on no outline. So now it looks like it's a floating shape. But you can still move it around once you click on the chart. Sorry. Once you click on the outer boxes, you can still shift it around. So the next thing I'll do is I double click on any of the shapes, any of the colors, and it brings you an option, a side option. You can reduce the donut hole to be 60%. Okay, press enter, or you can either use the slider by yourself and slide it to 60% or however you want it to be. You notice the hole has reduced in size. Okay, so next thing I'll do is I'll need to change the color, change the color of the outer cell. So what these segments will actually help you do is to help you to count what these percentages are. You see it once we are done with the donut cell. So next thing I need to do is I'll make sure that all these colors are the same, is homogeneous solid color. So I change this to solid color. Since I like blue, I'll select the color blue to make everything blue. Yes. Can you all see this?
Yes.
All right then. So now this is our background. This is what will now help us see the data. So now to start adding, at this point, I can actually share copy this, what I've done so far into different sections now to show low impact, medium impact, and high impact. So I'll copy it 3 times. So I'll just select this whole cell, copy it, paste it here, and then paste another one here. Okay. And I will change the colors as I'm working on each one. So back to this first one. Now to add the specific data that I want to add to this, I need to right click on it and click on select data. Brings us back to this box. But this time we're not going to now add 20 segments. We're going to add the specific data that we want. So I click on add, and now I'm going to select to add my series name. And my series name is low impact. Okay, so I want this particular chart to show me the low impact. And then my series values is, I'll delete this and I'll select these 2 cells. So since we're doing a pie chart, it's definitely going to be 100%. So if our proportion is on 75, that means what the other extra is going to be 25. That's why I had to add a support column. So now it's showing me 75% is low impact, and this 20% is just 25% is just the other side. Then I click on OK, then OK. Again, the next thing I'll do is I'll now change chart type. Oh, sorry. Oh, here. Okay. Okay, so to get it more directly, just click on the outer pie chart, the one that has segmented lines, and now right click on and select change charts type. And now brings you to this custom combination. I could have continued from the other side, but that required me going through this to search for what chart I want. But this is just easier. So I would like to make the low impact, that's the one that has the series name, to be my secondary axis. Okay, then when I'm done, I select OK. Right, so now this side, I would like it to be a solid color, right? And then while this other one, I like it to be, sorry, this one, this particular bigger portion should be no fill, okay? So it should show you the segmented portion. While the other one that has, I'm double clicking on each on the side I want to edit so that I can change the color. So I want it to be a solid fill. I'm changing the color to white. And then I'm changing the transparency percentage to be, let's say 25%. Okay, so once I'm done, I can click out of it. So we're almost done, but if you look at it, you can change this. Automatically, this is changing. This is just like the basic foundation, right? So you notice that this is showing 60% of what you are, the low impact countries. So, but still we're not done yet. We can add a chat box, sorry, a text box, so that you can see what the data is telling you. So you just click on insert and selected text box. Now I'm going to create a text box in here. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So now, how to make this chat box to, or this text box to reflect your data is you need to press your F2 function, that's F2 button. So, okay, you know what I mentioned F4? I didn't explain where F4 button is. It's not F then 4. If you look at your keyboard, your own personal laptop keyboard, you'd see like next to the escape button, you see some other buttons with maybe your volume and your screen brightness and making it dim is there. You also have like tiny figures there, like F1, F2, F3, F4. So those are the function buttons, which you may need to activate with your function key, which is at the bottom of your keyboard, not far from the space bar, next to the control button. You press that and press your F2 or your F4. So right now, I want to now link this particular box to this proportion. So I'll click on F2 or function F2, depending on what keyboard you're using. Make sure you highlight the outer box, not the inner box, don't let your cursor be blinking. Highlight the outer box and click on function F2. You notice there's your cursor blinks, so now you can type a formula. I want it to equal to proportion and press enter. Then you can see it here. You go back to home and make a middle. I can change the font to be impact. change the font size to be this. And then I'll also change the color to reflect this chart. I think this is the one I used. Yes. Okay. Then at the same time, I want to make this transparent so that it looks like it's invisible. Like I don't want the chat box to show or the text box to show. So I come here, click on no fill, and then also no outline. So it looks invisible, right? So let me take this formula back to what it was before. So notice that if this changes, the value here will change, and they try to let us know, okay, it's showing us 75% of countries are low impact. I can do some more, add some more information to this. I can create like a base for this chart. So most of this work is basically aesthetic work. You can actually make it the way you want it to look like. And but one thing that's important is you need to ensure that it's showing the correct data. So the blue looks different. There's this one I used, yeah. Okay, so likewise, I want to have this word low impact to appear here. So again, I need to press my function, make sure that I'm highlighting the outer box, function F2, click on first of function F2, make it equal to low impact, press enter. So then I can now change from home. I want it to be in the middle, center, and change the font size, the font type, change the size. I can change the color of the text to be white. So now we can see that this is showing us the low impact countries. So let me redo everything I've done. I'll repeat this one more time to show you the medium impact ones. So since I've already copied these ones out, the work is already like half done, but let me say 3/4 done. So now I can change the color. So I just double click on this. So make sure, as you double click on, make sure all these dots are colored, because if you click only on one of them, you're only coloring one of the segments. So I'm changing the color to, let me use yellow. Okay. At this point, I need to right click and then select my data. I click on add. Then my series name is medium impact. The series values is going to be the second one. I press enter. So I can also press OK, and they do the same thing, and press OK again here. So now on this outer, click on, okay, if let's say you mistakenly didn't click on the outer one, I just clicked on the center one. I want to change your chart type. You need to go to combo, okay, and change the chart type to be donuts, so that you'd see what you're looking for. So it's the same thing. It still takes you to the same place, but instead I'm making my, so it still looks the same as what it was before. I'm going to make my medium impact to be the secondary axis. Make sure this box is checked. Click on OK. So click on this blue, because that's where your data is. Then click on it and make that one to be no fill. Sorry, let's do that. Click on this. Make sure it's only clicking on, or you're only selecting this. So it looks a bit different. It's selecting this blue box. Let's say double click on it, and selecting no fill. Then this outer one, the other side, and I'll select on solid fill, but I'll color it white. And then change the transparency to 25. Remember the last time I typed in 25, but now I'm using the slider. Change it to 25. So I can leave it like that. And I'm okay with what I can see right now. So now to add the other parts of it, that is the text box. Now draw a text box here. Make sure I click on the outer text box and function F2 to select right equals to then this cell. I press enter and I can see the value here. So I'm going to now make this value to be in the middle and in the center. I can change the font type and make it bigger. Also change the color to reflect the color of the chart. Then also add a base to it. Insert shapes. Change the color to be the same as the chart. Excuse me. You can choose no outline if you want to. It's fine. Then also use function F2. And now click on medium impact. Press enter. Sorry. Function F2. And it's equals to medium impact. And then press enter. So remember, like equals to means that you want to put a formula in Excel. And even if you look at it here, you're seeing the formula that I've added. So it's making reference to this particular cell. So now I'm making it center and middle. Okay, and middle. I'm changing the font type, size, color. Okay, so this is your progressive chart. So if you notice, if you change this, you see that the value changes, also the angle at which the colors, the number of segments which are colored changes. So this is how you make your progressive charts. Any questions? Hello?
Yeah, Jenny, we are here.
Okay, thank you. So that's how you made your progressive charts. Are there any questions?
None yet.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer. That was a great one. And to our participants, these are just some of the things that we could bring within this time frame. We have other visualizations like having your visuals represented as a speedometer, what you see on your speedometer car, the gauge. We can also represent this on a thermometer gauge. And then we also have some special charts that time will not permit us to discuss here. But like I said, we have a complete package which participant can take in modules. We have modules 1 to 5. So at the end of this session, we will be sharing details and this the file for this particular webinar to everyone who has submitted their emails. So we have done that. So just at the end of this, we'll be sharing those with everyone. If you have not submitted your email, please do so as we are compiling them, and then we will share. So I will just take another 4 minutes to entertain questions. By 11:55, we are done. Thank you for your audience.
I think someone raised their hand.
Okay, Godwin Ubot, please go ahead and speak. Hello, Godwin, can you go ahead? Unmute yourself and speak.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, clear.
I say, what email, how do I submit the email address?
Okay, you send it to the chat box. You see
Okay.
people sending theirs now.
Okay,
The
okay,
chat
that's
box,
fine.
just send it there.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. I think Ahmed Danjuma, your hand is up.
Yes, good morning, Samson.
Good morning.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you, Jennifer. I think it's very useful. We've learned a lot, and we hope to see more of this. And I want to suggest that you share the link to the WhatsApp group so that other members interested in other packets can join the group. Yeah, WhatsApp link to the group. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, we heard you, sir. Thank you for that.
Okay, welcome.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Did you get what? Was it a question or just a comment?
More like a suggestion. He said we can share the link on the WhatsApp group for other members who are interested in the packages to be part of it.
Okay, okay.
Yes. So
And
thank you.
maybe just, yes, now that he just mentioned this, for those who are in Nigeria, especially in Abuja, we are having a face-to-face training on 29th of this month. So if you have not registered, there are some who have registered, and then we are making arrangement for that day. If you want to partake, if you want to be a participant in that face-to-face session, please also get in touch with us so that we can align with you. Thank you.
I think we have some other hands up. Either or they hold hands.
Yes, these are old hands. Just two, right? From Godwin. Okay, there's one, James Bull. Okay, James Bull, please, can you unmute and speak? Hello, James, can you hear? You can unmute and speak, please. Okay, I think there's another one again. Lowell, please, you can unmute and speak.
Okay, good morning, colleagues. Thank you for the opportunity.
Morning, sir.
Let me start by appreciating the organizers for this wonderful opportunity and platform for us to add value to our knowledge on Excel. Thank you very much. And to Jennifer, thank you very much for a very beautiful presentation. I just want to suggest or make a request that the recording of this training, it will be well appreciated if it is shared to all eventually. Because for us as Muslims, some of us, today is the Salah day. We just came back from mosque and we're just privileged to join just midway or while we're rounding up the presentation. So we quite appreciate if we're given another privilege of
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
Lawal, are you there?
having the record.
Hello, Lawal, are you there?
Yes, Lawal is there. Hello.
Okay, yes, thank you for your request.
Yes, sir.
We have heard, and just to assure you that they are available. It's already, we are live on YouTube, so you can always go to the channel and view it anytime you want to view it. So it's already there as we speak.
Okay, on YouTube. Yeah, that's great. That's excellent.
Okay, so Godwin Ugbo, yes, for the face-to-face, at least you have my WhatsApp. You can chat me, and then I'll give you the details. You will be added to the group. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, yeah, some of you are requesting for the materials. Yes, like I said, we are also sharing the file via email to everyone who has submitted an email. So you all get them. So we want to thank every one of you for participating, and we look forward to also having you on board when next we share for your participation. So thanks so much. God bless you all. And for those of us who are celebrating Salah, we wish you all the best and a peaceful celebration. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.